this, what I'm going to show you is the type of wickedness that the Egyptians bestowed on the Israelites deserved God's attention. God said that he was going to free these people. So we get here, and a lot of people think that Egypt didn't have any power, that they just showed up and it was just the one true God and they were just, going through the motions. But I dare say there's something else going on here. Because if you look at the story as it's told, the Pharaoh says, "Yeah, prove yourself, do a miracle, so I know you're not just wasting my time with idle threats." And Moses goes, "Aaron, throw your staff down." So important. Aaron's staff turns into a snake, a serpent. But so do the other people in the Egyptian court. The magicians of Egypt had magic, real magic that worked. This isn't just lip service because their staffs also turned into serpents. They could do that on a minor level, but they couldn't undo what God did. And they could make frogs, but they couldn't undo the frogs that God made. So in the beginning, they're kind of able to keep up on a minor scale. And in this instance, they were able to turn their serpents or their staffs into serpents. And then Aaron's snake came and ate their snake. And then they picked it up by the tail, turned right back into a staff. Aaron's serpent devours. It was a prophetic sign that God's authority was about to swallow up Egypt's false power. And the moment previews the coming place where the Pharaoh's heart is hardened despite the signs, and God's hand begins to dismantle the Egyptian pantheon. So why 10 plagues? So like we said, 10 is the number of completion, fullness, divine order. It represents the entirety of something accomplished. This is what I really meant to say today, is that it wasn't random. They were intentional and complete. It was intentionally to inflict pain and distress and embarrassment on certain Egyptian gods. 10 plagues for complete divine judgment. And you have to understand that as they stood there, the gods, not even just the magicians, the gods sat there with their, hands folded, that they couldn't do anything, as all of Egypt is, begging for help, begging for intervention, doing all their sacrifices and spells and everything, and nothing is working. And they just have to sit there in complete humiliation. By the 10th sign, the destruction of the first or death of the firstborn, Egypt is devastated, humbled, and broken. It wasn't a punishment, it's a spiritual war against the gods. And the 10 was a divine number that said, "It is finished. I have judged Egypt completely."